guys. It's me, Jared, from the J&J podcast.
And it's Josh here of the other part of J&J, I guess.
And today we'll be going into some news. We'll be talking about some recent movies we've seen, and we'll be doing some stories of celebrity interactions to end it off.
Yeah, we're going to mix up a little bit. We figured we'd have a good topic and some of the newer movies that just came out. So, Jared, how's your week been? You know, I haven't talked to you in a little bit.
Yeah, not too bad. Working, school, pretty much it. Mm-hmm. So just trying to get through that. It's fall break right now, so I got a few days off.
What's fall break for?
Couldn't tell you.
It's just a break?
It's just a break.
That's not for, like, midterms or anything?
So, I guess, because, like, midterms grades came out today. But, like, they don't mean anything.
You guys had midterms?
I didn't have any.
Oh.
Some.
I don't think I know anyone that did.
Yeah. It's not super common. Most of the time, it's just like, here's your midterm grade.
So you just kind of get it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't mean anything. Like
back in my day, whenever I was in community college, you would have midterms sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
But that's interesting.
Yeah.
You just said you had a break for no reason. I was like, okay.
Yeah. We get 2 days off plus a weekend. So
nice. I've been up to nothing but working some, getting the first podcast ready, which to announce that it is on YouTube and Spotify. We're pretty cool like that. So it's on Spotify if you want to listen. Give a 5-star review, follow. And it's on YouTube. It's on the Feedback Productions YouTube channel. We'll probably, hopefully, through the powers of Jared, because I don't know what I would be doing, social media stuff, such as Twitter or TikToks or whatever you kids go on nowadays. So that should be coming up here in the next bit. I couldn't even tell you.
Next few days.
Yeah, it could be a week, could be a month. The way I edit this stuff, you might not hear this till Christmas time. But, yeah, if you got anything else for the intro part?
Not that I can think.
All right. So, there's been some pretty big news developments since the first episode. The first topic we ever did on the news was about the writer's strike. Yeah. And I'm not saying that we caused the end of it, but I dropped that episode in, like, the next day. I'm not even kidding. The strike's over.
They heard the podcast and they knew what they had to do.
Yeah, the writer's strike has officially ended. It was like 100-something days. It was really long. It was a little longer than I expected. Now, the actor's strike's still going on. The SAG.
I think with the writer's strike ending, they kind of go.
I thought it was kind of coincided at a point where it just kind of combined.
A little bit, yeah. So, I think the actors should be kind of ending soon. Hopefully in the next few weeks. Because I know a lot of writers have already started going back into the writers' rooms.
Yeah.
So if they can start writing, get the actors... get their deal in the next few weeks, you can start seeing stuff.
The Today shows came right back. I think SNL's coming back here in a week or two.
I think next week.
Yeah, so stuff's already jumping right back into it, basically. So, which is great. Hopefully, even that couple 100 days is really going to affect movies, though.
Yeah.
Because, there were times where people were they're in the middle of production, and they said, well, we can't stop now. So, we'll see what happens. Hopefully nothing too crazy comes from it. Hopefully we're able to get a solution with the actors and just kind of get back to on track, because if not, then we could be seeing some real stinkers coming up here.
Yeah.
Like early 2000s when they had the first writer's strike. Yeah.
My favorite like tidbit from that is like, so do you know what Friday Night Lights is?
Is it the TV show?
Yeah.
I don't know much about it, but I know it's like a football TV show or something.
Yeah. So Jesse Plemons' character on the show.
Okay.
He, because of the writer's strike, they had a shortened season, their second season, and they botched the season, and there was just a weird arc where he killed somebody.
Really?
Yeah, and they just
he went full Gran Turismo.
Yeah, and it's just not talked about. After that, they hide the body kind of thing.
Oh,
and
really?
Just skip that part. And he just keeps playing high school football.
I think TV shows are probably the most affected, because I remember seeing it. It was a lot of TV shows, because that stuff's getting constantly written up. Movie, you write it and you kind of go on from it, but TV shows, you're constantly writing for a new season. So there was a lot of TV shows that got affected by that. Another thing I know about that is Quantum of Solace, I believe, was basically being written and made at the same time. Like, they were writing it as it was being filmed, because it was around that time. And that's why a lot of people say that's the weakest of the James Bond movies, of the Daniel Craig ones at least. So, hopefully, some good stuff comes out. I know I heard Stranger Things is already getting back on track, and nice. A lot of stuff like that is getting in the works. Hopefully the actors can get a solution here soon so we can really just get back to normal. So I'm kind of branching out a little bit from just movies, because I know we love movies. We also love pop culture and entertainment as a whole. So we are sports fans. Jared probably a little bit more than me. I'm a big NHL hockey guy, but Jared's kind of an all-around sports guy. And the whole Taylor Swift and the NFL thing. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I mean, for anybody who doesn't know,
who somehow doesn't know about this,
somehow hasn't heard about this. So Travis Kelce, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, arguably the best tight end in the NFL.
Arguably, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say he is. He is, I guess, dating. I guess that's the right word. I don't know if they're official or not. Hanging out with...
it's not official yet?
I don't know.
Are you sure?
I don't know. They're hanging out.
I thought it was.
They're hanging out. Hanging out with some little indie pop star. Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Might have heard of her.
Might have heard of her. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of taken the NFL by storm, because she's been at the past 2 games, and so half the game they're just showing her in the press box.
Yeah, I heard something crazy, like the last Kansas City game almost had the ratings of the Super Bowl or something crazy, like viewers, just because this one person. This one singer is literally destroying, killing it.
And I think it was Isaiah Pacheco got a touchdown. Somebody from the Chiefs got a touchdown, and instead of showing his celebration, the camera just panned to Taylor Swift.
We're watching betting going on, by the way, for the podcast listeners. You doing good, Jared? No? Okay.
Anyway, so it kind of just pans over to Taylor Swift, ignoring the touchdown that just happened.
Really? So it's her just sitting in her fancy Nancy press box.
And there was a commercial for the Chiefs-Jets game, and she has a song called "Welcome to New York." But it's not a hype song that they would typically play for that kind of commercial. So it's all these highlights of the players, and it's "Welcome to New York." It's heard that live in Pittsburgh, but
they couldn't afford to shake it off, so they were like, "Yeah, let's get Welcome to New York."
Actually, I don't even think that was a song they played at the concert.
Oh, really?
I couldn't tell you.
Well, so there's a lot of theories behind it, because you saw the concert in Pittsburgh, right?
I did.
So he saw the concert in Pittsburgh. Where at? Acrisure Stadium.
Acrisure Stadium.
So there's a big theory that they're kind of going back to the 40s and 50s, where they're trying to get the most famous celebrities at the time and get them together, kind of like a crossbreed and promotion. And it's just kind of a coincidence that Taylor Swift, having possibly the biggest tour of all time, stadium tour of all time, through the NFL, is also dating possibly one of the biggest names in the NFL.
Yeah.
And it's just, a lot of people believe that it's kind of breeded from the NFL being like, look, we'll give you a stadium tour, give you money, if you just kind of cross-promote by dating one of our players. And this weird, I guess if they never even said they're officially dating, it kind of proves that it's kind of are they dating? Yeah.
So I was at one of her Pittsburgh shows. My girlfriend's a big fan. So I got the tickets. I went through the Ticketmaster war.
Oh, you poor man. You poor man.
So we went. It was a good time.
Oh, that's good.
I knew a decent bit of the songs. There was a few songs that I didn't know. So I was just kind of there for those. But I knew most of them.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah, well, that woman's killing the movie theaters right now with the high, it's outsold Spider-Man No Way Home for the highest pre-sale tickets. It's insane.
Because when Riley went and got our tickets for that, she got them right after they came out. There was a queue on the AMC website
for that's some Endgame stuff. I remember sitting for Endgame, waiting for tickets for that, and it was like a 30-minute wait, and you just sat there, and then eventually
she had like a 15-minute wait or something.
That's
like that.
Insane.
And that was like almost like that entire day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It wasn't even just for the Taylor tickets. Like if you just want to get on the AMC website,
it was the same thing. It was the same thing when Endgame came out, which is crazy that she's having the power of that, and this is really going to probably spring another renaissance of concert films because Beyonce right afterwards.
But hers is not doing as well. Like
I bet not. There's no way.
Not even close.
No one's going to be able to get as close. No. Even if someone like Billie Eilish, who I think would be on the same level, I bet you she came out with a concert movie would not be as.
Yeah, I can't even think of anybody who holds that power.
No, there's she. For some reason, I don't know where this all came from because I knew Taylor Swift was popular, and then all of a sudden it's just like she went to the stratosphere. I couldn't even name a new song within the last 3 years, or the last 3 albums, I should say.
So like my theory with it, because I've seen people discuss this before of like how is it that she's so popular? She's been around for so long. She's very consistent. Because she's been making music for like 15 years.
But it's a weird thing because someone like the Beatles were only around for so many years. It was a very short time.
Yeah.
Beatles became arguably definitely probably more popular than Taylor Swift. But Taylor Swift's the closest thing I can compare that to. And even the Beatles, they were only around for 9 years. And they blew up. So it's like, where has she been? Like, it seems like she's popular.
I think it's just that she's always had these people that, especially like people so like Riley's age, she's grown up with Taylor Swift, like from her country stuff to the more pop stuff to some of her folk stuff.
True. But do you think like that had the same effect with Michael Jackson? You think kids were listening to Jackson 5 and then whenever in the 80s they became teenager and adult, they were like, Michael Jackson's it? Because Michael Jackson was beyond, like Elvis and Michael Jackson were above her, but still the closest thing we're ever probably going to get to that level. And I don't know. I mean, is this just a United States thing? Like, is she having this much impact across the world? Because someone like Michael Jackson was all over.
Yeah, so I know she is. I don't think it's as big as it is in the United States, obviously.
Because we could just be seeing the best of, like, the most effect of it. But you go to China, they're like, well, who the fuck's Taylor Swift?
Yeah, I know she had some, like, international shows, and they had the same, like, craziness of trying to get the tickets, but there was a lot less international shows.
Well, yeah. She's probably hitting the major points there, but over here she was like trying to milk it. But was it true when you were at the concert? Did you notice in the top? Well, you were in the top, right?
I was at the top. Yeah.
Were you noticing when she came out the things moving around?
Oh yeah,
because I've heard stories of like it felt like the whole thing was going to come apart.
Yeah, so I went to the bathroom. During what's called the Reputation era. Okay. That's one of her albums because that's like my least favorite album first. So I was like, this is when I'll go to the bathroom.
So was she doing it by
album?
So it's by album, but she wasn't playing every song. She was just playing some of like the hits.
I'll explain that after this. Okay. So I went to the bathroom and like I'm in there and it's like shaking, like
the whole thing's just shaking.
Yeah,
that's insane.
It was insane, and it was the most attendance of any event ever, like in Pittsburgh.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane. I couldn't even think what was the second big, like Bruce Springsteen or something? Kenny Chesney?
I think it was one of the sporting events. I think it was
probably like a playoff game?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Huh.
And so to like explain how she did it, so each show would have the same song sang, right?
Yeah, set list. Set list.
The same set list. She had so many songs from each era or album.
Yeah.
But then towards the end, she would do her surprise songs. So she would pick 2 songs that weren't on the set list for each show.
Okay. So 2 random songs from her catalog.
Yeah. Okay. And so that way she could try to get through like pretty much every song.
Okay.
So it was like a big thing for people who weren't at the concert, but were going to a later one to be like, paying attention to that so they knew like
so there was a reason to go 2 days or she was there for 2 days.
She was in Pittsburgh 2 days.
Yeah. Okay, so
because like Riley and some of my other friends they would like they would sit there and watch these like TikToks of people at like these concerts to see what the surprise songs were.
So they could kind of eliminate it.
Yeah, and
okay.
then be super upset because they didn't get to hear the one they wanted to hear.
Yeah. They get some underground hit that no one even likes. It's like the bottom of the barrel.
The only time that she would change the set list, so like one of her openers was Phoebe Bridgers, and they have a song together, so they put that in the set list. She opened with Haim.
Okay. So I don't know anything about Taylor Swift, so yep. Mm-hmm,
yep. You're welcome.
Shake It Off.
She did sing Shake It Off. But yeah.
Huh.
It was something.
See, like the closest thing I can think of is Metallica does something to that effect where they do 2 different set lists for 2 nights. So
gotcha.
one set list is completely different than the next night. So that's the only thing I can think of compared to that. But yeah, that's pretty crazy though. She has that power to kind of, I mean, views on the NFL look crazy big, so they're going to milk this as much as they can. Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't. I wonder if they try to get her for the Super Bowl or something, maybe with touring. I wonder if the next couple of years they're going to try and get her.
I feel like they might, but like Usher?
Yeah, Usher.
We got to talk about that, guys.
That is a really weird choice.
Usher.
Yeah, Usher. Rihanna, I thought was amazing. I thought that was great.
It was a good performance, yeah.
But I don't.
Usher?
I don't know if they're stuck like 10 years behind.
Yeah.
Like is Black Eyed Peas coming back this year or
Macklemore?
Macklemore may be one. Do not.
Don't give them ideas.
It's like they're back 10 years. Just think about it. Within the last couple of years, it was people that just became popular, like Rihanna. I haven't heard anything new from Rihanna recently, except for her being pregnant.
Yeah.
I don't know if couldn't name the last album
she was like retired or something, I think.
Yeah, she's retired, and then after that they're like, let's bring her back. And even as much as I love like the rap one in the West Coast, like all those people. Like Eminem and stuff, like Eminem's biggest album was like Not Afraid and all that stuff.
It was like 15 years ago.
It was like 10 years ago. So they're just trying to go safe with like people. You're never going to see a Kanye West, unfortunately. Or even Jay-Z. I love Kanye. All right, I'll say that. Not him, but his music. His music's amazing. But like never
got to get a soundbite there.
Yeah, I'll say it. I mean, I love his music. You can't not say you not like his music. He's crazy, but anyways, there's not a lot of people of that caliber. Because even like Jay-Z, you're not going to get.
Yeah,
I think like their chance of being out there was with Rihanna when they were singing songs with Jay-Z and Kanye in there. After that, it's like, who are you going to get? Billie Eilish? Make everyone fucking cry? Adele? I mean, who are you going to get?
Yeah, I mean, there's just nobody with that, like, star power.
So, Taylor Swift, I feel like, is possible, but it costs so much.
Oh, yeah.
Unless, she's banging one of the people from the Kansas City Chiefs, and all of a sudden, it's like the perfect tie-over.
But then you deal with, like, did the NFL make sure that the Chiefs got there?
Well, I guess they would have to have the Chiefs not win, or something like that.
Yeah.
So, who knows? But speaking on concerts, I wanted to mention this because they just kind of opened it up for the first showing, was the Vegas Sphere. And we've been seeing recently them showing the outside, how it has the screen and everything. And there's been all these different effects, like a big smiley face and all these weird different things. But they've actually started to have their first concerts with the U2... what's it called? Where they stay there for residency, a Vegas residency in the new Vegas Sphere, and I don't know if you've seen much of it, but some of the stuff in there is insane. Like, I guess each seat has its own speaker setup. Insane. It's like a master, you can mix your own, and the screen, it looks amazing. There's a song called The Fly. I don't know much about U2, but there's this song called The Fly that they perform where they have this guitar solo, and it looks like this crazy Matrix, like all these numbers and letters flying across the screen, and the screen kind of keeps rising up to, it feels like it's going to infinity straight up, and then this wall comes like crashing down, and when I first heard U2 was the first band to have a residency there, I don't know much about them, so I was kind of hesitant. Like, that's really a weird choice to show off your multi-billion-dollar, new concert venue. But it was it really kind of impressed me because it was like, if someone like U2 can do this, what could someone, I'll say it, like a Kanye or someone with like theatrics, be like a Taylor Swift concert in there, you say this theatrics were good outside, But like there, it would be insane. Like you'd feel like you're in a different planet. Because I've been to one of the, because it's basically one of those. They have it at some science
planetarium.
Yeah, where you sit there and you kind of lean, and it's like the screen's above you. And those things feel trippy already. So seeing a concert in one of those, I mean, there's a big fear of like motion sickness, but I feel like the way that they're doing it is kind of on the safer end, at least for right now. But this is just the breeding grounds for the beginnings of something insane. So I just wanted to mention that. I feel like that's could be really big because I guess London is already trying to build one because it's MGM, I believe. MGM owns it. So it's basically they could start planting these anywhere. They could plant one in New York, Pittsburgh, wherever. But yeah, it's insane, some of the stuff. And this is just the beginning. This is the very beginning of what's possible. But if you haven't checked it out already, I highly recommend just looking up a couple clips of it. There's plenty of clips out there of it. But The Fly, man, when he's playing that guitar solo, and it really feels like you're in like a different world. Like, it looks insane.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah. So yeah, you got any other news you want to talk about? Anything off the top of your head? Gaming? The Priscilla trailer came out.
Priscilla.
Yeah, so I'm a massive fan of the Elvis film. Not something I'm proud of, but I do love that movie for some reason.
I enjoy it.
I love how...
Not as much as you. Tell them how many times you saw it.
I did see it 3 times in theaters within about a 2-week span. And to me, it just felt like an adventure. And it felt like a true movie to me. Like, I don't know the last time I saw something that kind of blew... It was like the Vegas sphere. To me, it was like so out of this world that it was... Because we weren't around for Elvis.
No.
So to us, it's kind of like this figure.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean... And to preface, the night we saw it together, we did a double feature with Minions Rise of Gru before that.
I think the other time I saw it was Black Phone and Elvis. And then the first time I saw Elvis was the 4th of July or something at like midnight.
So did you see the Black Phone twice in theaters?
I did see the Black Phone twice in theaters. Yeah, it was insane. But
we saw that together.
I love that movie. I also love Black Phone. I'm a pretty big fan of that. And the Minions movie wasn't too bad.
Riley saw the Black Phone recently. She hated it.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Emma said it was okay. She enjoyed it, but for the most part...
she's not big into horror, though, really.
If you're not a big horror guy, it's like watching, I don't know, like a space sci-fi movie like The Creator. And, we'll get to that later. But anyways, so I was a big fan of Elvis, and we have the same birthday, by the way. Just a little fun fact. We're just really throwing out all our personal information. Social security numbers. I'm just kidding. So Elvis comes out, and I love it. I fall in love with Elvis, basically. And they have this film, an A24 movie about Priscilla, which I'm kind of scared about, to be honest. I'm afraid what it's going to make. I guess based off a book. It's like Me and Elvis or something like that. But
see, I mean, I don't know, Jacob Elroy or however you say his name. He's playing Elvis.
He's got a hell of a chin. He's got a better chin than Austin Butler. Austin Butler could pull off the singing, the performance thing.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes. It's Sofia Coppola. So like,
I think my favorite looking Elvis is Michael Shannon. And Elvis versus Nixon, a great film. But as my favorite looking Elvis, my favorite performing Elvis is Austin Butler, clearly. But I wonder, I don't know. I'm afraid of this one. A24 movie. I'm sure they're against Elvis and the whole idea of it. So
your favorite looking Elvis wasn't you on Halloween last year?
No, unfortunately, I did not pull it off. I should have shaved. I had the little chin strap beard. I should have shaved that off. I mean, I looked pretty sweet, but that's a close third. It's close third. But that's the only other trail I could think of was the Priscilla one.
Yeah, not too much. I feel like a lot of the other ones kind of came out a few weeks ago, right before the film festivals kind of started up.
Yeah, I guess there was something to do with the actor strike too, that they stopped trailers and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I've heard things such as, not to go all the way back, but with the actor strike, Beetlejuice 2 with Jenna Ortega was 2 days from being finished, and they stopped.
Really?
So they have like 2 more days. So if that thing gets finished like now, within the next week, the movie's done.
Yeah.
So which is weird. I didn't even know that was being made. I thought it was
Yeah.
a rumor for the longest time. Then all of a sudden I hear it's like just 2 days behind being finished, which is very skeptical. I'm very skeptical on a Beetlejuice too. I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, anything else in the news you can think of?
I guess we could talk about. So, there some of the recent movies just scores, ratings and stuff that have come out. You got The Exorcist Believer with like a 20.
Yeah, that just dropped a couple hours ago. Yeah, I guess the review for Exorcist Believers 26 or 28, something like that.
Something like that. It's
Which
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised at all either. This is the same guy that directed the Halloween trilogy, the new one. I love 2018, but like I've said before, like after that, it just falls apart. So I don't think it's gonna be. I didn't think it looked good from the trailers, which is how Halloween got me. Every trailer, I was like, okay, this is gonna be good. I swear it's gonna be good. And I watch, I'm like, this is not good. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I guess they're gonna try and make this one a trilogy, and it's got the same kind of thing where it's like 40 years later. I don't know.
Oh boy, yeah, that's gonna be bad.
Yeah, I'm not really too excited for that, but I don't think there's anything else really. So
get into the movies.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and get into the movies. I'll start off. So Saw X just came out. Jared, you're not really a big horror guy. You'll see Scream or the occasional like Black Phone or something, but
decently into them. But
you're not a Saw guy, I should say.
Yeah, this genre of horror, I'm not. I'm more into like the psychological kind of stuff.
Yeah,
than this like gory.
I'm to be honest, I'm really not a fan of the gory stuff either.
Yeah.
So I really stayed away from the Saw franchise. I had no interest in it, and so Saw X was coming up, and the girlfriend, of course, wanted to go see it over dumb money. So I'm like, oh, okay, great. So I figured in preparation I'd watch the first Saw, and I hear such great things about it. And
so from my understanding, the first one's really good, and then the rest kind of suck.
Okay. Well, I thought the first one sucked.
Really?
I thought it was boring.
Okay.
There are some cool little things about it. Maybe because I knew what was going to happen.
Maybe.
I knew some of the twists and turns that were going to happen, so I really had no care for it. I guess if you know what happens in the trap, you really don't care.
Yeah.
But, like, I liked it because there was, like, the best part to me was this little throwaway thing where they talk about one of the guys that killed. It was a cool trap where this guy was covered in this stuff that was very flammable, like a goo, like gel stuff.
Gotcha.
And he, on the walls, he was in this big closed off room with all these walls, and there was a bunch of things written on it. And he had to use the light from a candle to see the ink. It was like invisible ink or something like that. And he had to figure out the code so he can get out. He can get like the key to get out or whatever. But he was covered with this flammable stuff. So once the candle ran out, he was going to catch on fire. And spoiler, he eventually does catch on fire. Yeah. But it's such a throwaway thing. It's only like 2 minutes long. I was like, that was really neat.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it was just very slow paced. It was like a cop drama basically, because it was more of a mystery movie trying to figure out who this guy is.
Yeah.
And I just did not care for it. So I haven't seen any other sequels other than bits and parts of people talking about it, people's reactions to it. But like I know some things here and there, like Linkin Park is like the lead singer of Linkin Park's in one of them, and a couple other things. Roderick from Diarompik is in it.
Shaq and Dr. Phil.
Yeah, and it was a Scary Movie. Is that 3 or something? One of the Scary Movies, they did the parody. But so I was going into Saw X just not excited. I'm like, this is going to be bad. And I've already heard things where it was like, there's not as many traps as in the other ones. I was like, what is this movie? But apparently it's got really high reviews.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's got like 86 or something. So I really had no expectation. And surprise, surprise, this is my favorite Saw movie.
Really?
And I've only seen 2, but from seeing quote unquote the best one in the first one, I felt this one was way better of a movie overall and a Saw movie. I don't know if you care to see it. I can explain some if you want.
I probably won't see it.
Okay. I'll just give you a basic synopsis. So the idea is it's kind of its own standalone movie. If you could watch this movie without seeing any other Saw movie and get it perfectly fine. Like the girlfriend, she hadn't seen a Saw movie in a couple of years, so she probably forgot about it. And I mean, as long as you have a basic idea that this guy's kind of crazy and will do these traps on people, you get the basic idea.
Yeah, I mean, I know that.
So the way it's about is that he's going in and basically he has the cancer. That's the whole thing, is that he has cancer and he puts these people in the traps because they're bad people. And the way it's been played up the last couple sequels and from the beginning is that he's doing this as a bad guy, which he is. It's bad.
Yeah.
But in this one, they make it about Jigsaw, and you kind of side with him because what happens is he gets this diagnosis. They're kind of going through it, how it's terminal and stuff. This takes place, by the way, after the first one. Apparently, it's like 1.5. It's between the first one and the second one, and so he goes down to Mexico because there's this treatment he finds out about, where this guy was like, "Yeah, I got this treatment in Mexico. It's like this very low, under the table thing, but it worked. It cured me." And he goes down there and he goes through his whole process, and it turns out that the whole thing was a scam. So the whole time he's getting scammed. And he figures that out, so he captures everyone and puts them in this trap. And it's this real kind of like revenge story where he's there and he's like watching all these people, and it's like he's giving them a chance. Because that's the whole point, is that they mess up, but it's technically a chance to get out, but really it's going to mess you up. So I just really thought it was really well done because it had a whole story arc. Because it was kind of like showing that Jigsaw is a bad person at the same time. He's an anti-hero in a way.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a perfect way to do it. Because you could watch this movie by itself and be like, all right, it's just this crazy guy that wants revenge on these people. Like, I'm sure a lot of people do. And I thought it was really well done. The traps, however, were not the best. I think the coolest trap is on the poster, and it's the one with the tubes coming out. And it's a weird thinking. So that's at the very beginning of the movie, and he's going through the hospital, and he peeks on a guy in a room, and he sees one of the nurses looking through his stuff, like his watch and stuff. And it's a vision of him, of Jigsaw, seeing this guy in this trap, where he has these vacuums stuck to his eyes.
Gotcha.
And he has to do it, because everything's on like a time limit, so he has like a minute, and what he has to do is he has to crank this dial, and each time he cranks the dial, he breaks a finger. It's very it's just him breaking a finger. And so he has to break all his fingers to get out. But he has to do it within like a minute or something like that. It's like minute to win it, but really messed up. And of course he doesn't do it. And in the imagination he doesn't do it, and the vacuums suck his eyeballs out, and they show it all. And but it cuts to him in there, and the guy doesn't get it. He just leaves it, and Jigsaw's like, good choice. And so it's kind of like you kind of get a little bit inside his head of what he's thinking of. And like throughout the movie, it's funny because he's sitting there like happy after he got cured, but he's still making up all these little like traps. He's like has like a notebook like making these traps and stuff. He's a crazy man. But it was such a, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. And some of the acting was weird. Again, the traps were okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's the whole thing with it.
Yeah, if the traps were better, I think this would be a really great movie. Yeah. But I really enjoyed it. It's just, I think the traps were lacking. The ending trap was pretty cool. The way they did it, it was like a seesaw. And what happens is the main bad person, the main bad girl, who was, it's funny to say bad girl against fucking Jigsaw, a murderer, but the main bad girl gets free, and she has a partner that comes in and sets her free, and they put Jigsaw in a trap with a kid they find outside, a kid from earlier in the movie or whatever. And so they put the kid on the seesaw trap with Jigsaw, and it was basically you pull down this lever towards you or away from you, and it would seesaw back, and blood would, you basically waterboard. You're getting choked with blood, and then whenever the other person were to pull it, it would tilt them back that way and start choking them. So it was a seesaw until someone eventually died, I guess. Yeah. So you were basically until that person died and they couldn't pull the lever anymore. But it was this really cool kind of moment where it was like Jigsaw being the anti-hero. So he was like telling this kid not to pull it and stuff. So he was like trying to take it as much as possible, and the kid was helping out. So it was like this weird kind of moment where you saw Jigsaw. It was like he's really doing all this stuff just to get at bad people. Yeah. So it's kind of like, yeah, these people scammed out of millions and millions of dollars. Yeah. And
it's like he's killing people, but it's like Robin Hood.
It's like murder Robin Hood. And like all the people that did it, they did messed up stuff. Now, there was also a little bit of an arc because Jigsaw has like a helper in this one. And there's one of the people that are, they're bad because they worked for the person, but she's addicted to drugs. So she was kind of doing it to get her like fix. Yeah. And so the girl had this conflict of trying to set this girl free. because the whole time she kind of like wanted to set this girl free and get her out of the trap and stuff. But Jigsaw was like, no, these people are bad. So it had this weird like layers to it that I didn't expect from the 10th film in a franchise with some real stinkers in there. Like I know some of them are really bad, but
Chris Rock, I'm pretty sure is like
yeah, I hear that one's pretty bad. But yeah, I was really surprised from someone that's not a fan of the first Saw or really cares to see any of them. I was really surprised by this movie. So I recommend if you ever happen to just be in the mood to see a Saw movie, this is the one I recommend. So yeah, we'll just throw it to you with Dumb Money. You're the one that kind of saw Dumb Money. I saw part of it, so I can get my feedback on it, but you saw the whole thing. So.
Yeah, so I got to see Dumb Money. I was really excited for this, and I also ended up really liking it. The cast was insane. Paul Dano, Seth Rogen, Nick Offerman, Pete Davidson, Anthony Ramos, American Ferrera, Shailene Woodley. Am I forgetting anybody?
Probably
somebody.
There's a couple. There's a lot of people in there.
Probably
Dave Portnoy. All the classics.
Dave Portnoy. Elon Musk.
Steve from American Dad. He makes a quick cameo in one of the gifs. Yeah. Oh, he's like getting floated up by his boner or something weird. It was supposed to be the stocks going. It's a crazy movie.
Yeah. So I mean, because I was really into this like actual situation when it happened.
Yeah. This is like one of the only like biopics that we were actually been a part of.
Yeah.
A lot of them you see like Elvis or Queen and all that stuff, and it's even like Wolf of Wall Street. We had nothing to do with it, but this one was really recent. Right. Yeah.
So I mean, I remember most of this stuff happening. So seeing it like put on the big screen with like a lot of actors I enjoy was really good.
This is one of the first movies I can think of that was about the pandemic too. They had a little bit of pandemic on
it. Yeah.
I think Glass Onion had a little bit of that.
Glass Onion did,
but like this really showed off like the pandemic going on in the background.
But. Yeah, I mean, I really liked it.
That's it.
Yeah, I really liked it.
There you go.
There's a lot of funny moments as well, which I didn't really expect.
Like
obviously, I wasn't expecting to be like super serious, but there's a lot of funny moments. There's a part at the beginning that's just super silly because it's Seth Rogen and Paul Dano running to WAP, and I just thought that was the silliest thing I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
And then you have the scene, it's in the trailer with like Nick Offerman like shirtless in a pool, just
being Nick Offerman, basically. Yeah. Shitballs, yeah.
Basically.
I from what I saw, I really enjoyed it. I've seen basically the last hour of it throughout, cutting in between, just walking through. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed those movies.
I figured you would.
Yeah, I don't. It was not on my top 5 anticipated. It was just kind of like, it's a movie, but I enjoyed it. I liked it. It does breed the question of, are there going to be more movies like this? Because I've heard the saying it's like a elongated TikTok or like a YouTube video. The way it's edited is very fast paced.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot. I mean, even throughout, like. Obviously, like, the thing with, like, Paul Dano's character is that he is a YouTuber. So, like, it does show you through, like, YouTube videos.
Well, it's almost like a documentary, too. Yeah, the way it's done.
Well, like, have you seen Searching or Missing?
I have not. Oh, like the screen capture movies and stuff? Yeah, I've heard of those, but
I think those do a pretty good job with that.
Yeah, but the idea is that it is through that. This one is kind of like it's just a movie, like it's just to play as a movie, or almost like a documentary, and then they have interspliced like Dave Portnoy interview with and like Elon Musk and all this weird stuff.
AOC, like
well, so do you know about that? Is that's from the real congressional? I looked it up, and that's her exact response. Yep. It's just they had the actors going, which I thought was really smart.
Yep.
But
I mean, I really enjoyed it. I feel like it has a lot of like rewatch value. Like it can be a movie you can put on, like.
Yeah. It's a comfort movie. Yeah. It's just to sit down and watch it. There's a little bit of Pittsburgh reference in there too. One woman works at the Pittsburgh hospital.
She's from Pittsburgh. So I was curious, like where, like if she was at like UPMC or anything like that.
Presbyterian Hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I looked it up. She's not a real person.
She isn't?
No.
Oh,
So,
I like the ending joke where it was like everyone's up like $100,000, $1 million, and she's negative 16,000 or whatever because it was like still holding. That was her whole thing. Is like she was going to hold throughout the end.
Yeah. So I think most like Paul Dano's character, Seth Rogen's character, Nick Offerman. I think like Pete Davidson's character. All of those people were real. But I think, like, the GameStop worker, like Anthony Ramos, the nurse, and the, like...
Yeah, those are just characters to add on to it. Yeah. I feel like beyond the main cast, there's probably just people that were just there to kind of show the impact beyond just the rich people. Yeah, because that was a big thing. That was really...
Yeah.
I wasn't invested at the time. I wish I was, but it was a really big thing.
I wish, but...
Yeah. That's, dumb money.
All right, so our third movie of the week.
Yeah, the big movie of the week that, I had no care to see this movie was The Creator.
Yeah.
The Creator, they've been hyping up as mostly what's the guy's name, the director?
Oh, God. The guy did Rogue One.
The guy did, everyone knows him, the guy did Rogue One and Godzilla. Like, that's what he's known for. And that's what you expect is the visuals and stuff of that. Gareth Edwards. That's what you're here to basically see, to be honest. You're here to see Rogue One Part 1.5 or whatever. And we just got back from it about an hour or two ago. And Jared?
Yeah, so I'll start off, I guess. So... I mean, the whole time we're sitting there and quite literally checking the time.
Yeah.
We did have fun with it. I'll start off with positives. There were a few positives to it. I like the visuals.
But that's what you're getting.
Yeah.
That's this guy's thing.
I don't know her name. I do want to find her name. But
the girl
who played the child, or Alfie, Madeline Yuna-Voiles. She's only 9 years old.
I thought she did great.
Yeah, she did great.
She did great.
According to Letterboxd, this is her first ever role.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen her in anything else, but yeah.
I mean, I thought she was great. Hans Zimmer. As always, carried.
Yeah.
I'm a big Hans Zimmer fan. I'll sit there and just listen to him casually. So
yeah.
Outside of that,
beyond that,
the set design was cool. I thought the makeup was good. I think it's gonna get like some technical awards and stuff, or at least nominations come award season. But the negatives were everything else.
Yeah. Everything, everywhere, all at once.
The plot was bad. I thought it was long. The casting, I thought, sucked. I don't really care for John David Washington. He's never going to be his dad.
I think that experiment's done. I think this was the nail in the coffin for him.
I don't think he was very good. Allison Janney just made no sense.
Yeah.
Because I love Allison Janney. Like, Juno is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
She's in, like, 10 Things
I Hate About You.
Yeah. But I just didn't get why she was cast in this. It just didn't make sense.
I can tell you what I don't understand. Why this movie was made. It was so bad. It was really bad. The first hour, I was fighting, not falling asleep the whole time. I'm sitting there just dozing off.
I mean, it's been a long day. I worked today. I had classes.
Yeah, same. It was. I don't think from the beginning I was invested at all. Like, the whole time sitting there, like...
Because I remember, spoiler warning, I guess.
I don't care. You can say whatever you want. There's nothing to spoil. I don't even remember what happens in the movie, to be honest.
Yeah, so at the beginning, John David Washington's wife dies. And then it's kind of like the next, half hour or so is kind of like montages of them almost throughout and, stuff like that. But, and it's meant to make you feel, sad for him. But they never build up his wife's character enough to where I feel like I care at all.
It's the first, 3 minutes that whole stuff happens. And then it's like, okay, yeah, you're supposed to care about that person.
So I feel like I just don't care whatsoever that she died.
It was bad. It was, I couldn't think of anything.
And then, any of the twists they tried to do, we saw it coming.
I couldn't even tell you what was happening. Either I saw it coming or I had no idea what they were talking about.
Because, so I think it was supposed to be a twist, the child being his. Like Alfie?
I feel like it's such a generic trope that I feel like it was just... I thought that was the whole story.
Yeah.
It was like...
I knew it was coming,
yeah.
but I feel like they tried to reveal it like it was a twist. But I feel like I just knew it was going to happen. And same with his wife being the, like... Whatever, the like,
creator?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was... That's,
whatever the word
was. It was like... It was so... Oh,
like,
my God, it was so dumb.
Obvious too.
Yeah,
and like,
it was
that was made
dumb.
to be like another twist.
I don't know what they were. From the beginning, I had no interest. I was trying to focus on it, I just could not.
And then I feel like it was just so confusing on who. I guess maybe that's the point, but like it was confusing of like who was AI and who wasn't. Like obviously some of them had like the big gauged ears, but like that first sequence, I didn't know his wife was AI. Like, at that beginning, like, it was hard to tell.
So I think that was the point. I feel like they were supposed to reveal that later on or something. Because they had the hair covering up, and I instantly thought, okay, they have the hair covering up. Either it's going to be revealed that she's AI, or he doesn't know, or something weird like that. Something weird. But it was like, the hair's covering the head where you would be able to tell. But it's like, okay, so is this supposed to be a big reveal, or...
Yeah. I just didn't care for it.
It's probably my least favorite movie of the year.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad. I am not a fan. I could not focus. All I remember was the very ending. Because at that point, I was so excited that it was almost over. I was like, I focused.
The ending does pick it up.
Not by much. There are cool little things. Like
the bomb.
The bomber. Yeah.
That was pretty.
That was pretty
that
sweet.
Whole scene I thought was pretty solid.
But it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
That was it. That whole idea of that robot that just was a tank and it was just going straight ahead and it was just going to blow up. It was a kamikaze bot, basically. I thought that was a cool idea.
Yeah.
But that's a cool idea in a 2-hour movie with nothing else to show for it.
Yeah.
Like, there was no plot. I had no idea what was happening.
There was a whole lot of, just like back and forth. It was like it was 2 hours of a cat and mouse chase, basically. Like,
it was just weird. Like, even a movie, any sort of movie with some sort of MacGuffin of, we have to get this item that's going to drive the story along. This has not, like, it made no sense. It was just like, we have to go get this item. Oh, it's a kid. It's not a weapon. Okay, now we're here. Now we're here. Now we're here. Oh, people are shooting at. Now we're here. It was like jumping all over the place. It had no string attached to it. It was just a plot that just hopped around. There's people, I had no idea where they were coming from, or it was people from the beginning of the movie showing up later for no reason. It was just like to show a little bit of plot.
Yeah.
To like build this world. I guess that's the idea. It's like, he did Star Wars and Godzilla. We all know who Godzilla is, the monster, and Star Wars, everyone knows what Star Wars is. We have no idea who the creator is. Which, this is an original story.
It is.
And we have to mention this, is that it's an original story, and I love original stories. You're Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Stuff you're not going to be able to get from a book. Purely original stories. Even though this is borrowing from a lot of tropes, this is basically just Logan, the movie with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and Blade Runner combined. Where there's a kid that they have to get from a destination. It's just bad. It's just, whatever it is, it's just bad.
It's like Tears in the Rain.
It's a million different movies combined into this really messy, boring mess. Like, I thought we were an hour and a half into it, and I look at Jared's phone, it's 30 minutes. We're the only people in this theater.
Yeah, no, nobody else.
So it was just like, what is this? You couldn't even make fun of it. I was just sitting there like, this is just boring. I wanted to leave halfway through it. I was just like, this is bad. But I guess the second half did pick up a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
The first half is the worst movie I've probably seen in a very long time. But the second half was just a very bad movie. I'll give it that. It was a very bad movie. It had once the bomber kind of came in, but like, I don't even know how they got there. I have no idea how they got to the location where the bomber's at. It was just, there's this robot that can't be destroyed, just runs and blows up. That's cool. And then it's like, we're teleported. Like, my brain's jumping around in this movie.
And then there was like multiple times where people would get shot in the back with like bombs sticking to their back.
Yeah.
And then they go to other people and like, they're like,
They're like, oh no, I have something on my back. Please get it off. Please. Oh no. Stuff like taking off their fucking backpack or whatever.
Like, and instead of throwing the girl out of the plane,
yeah, the girl that caught one, let's keep it in the plane as much as we can because instead of killing one person, let's kill like 8 people and bring down a fucking plane.
Right.
Yeah, that movie. Oh my god, it made me so mad. It was just so stupid. It was just boring. That's the worst thing a movie can be. Is boring. I was hoping even the visuals would save it for me, and I did not even care for the visuals. Like, I thought some of the visuals didn't even look that good. It looked like just like a video game. I'd rather be watching Halo cutscenes in this. It was bad. I am not a fan of the creator at all. It's definitely probably my worst, least favorite movie of the year. We'll see if Wonka can beat that. I don't think Wonka could be this bad. Like, at least Wonka could be somewhat entertaining, even in a bad way.
I feel like Wonka will be fine.
I think Wonka will be bad. It will not be terrible. Even if it is terrible, it's not going to be this bad. This is a whole nother level. Like, I am absolutely shocked by how just bad it was. I have no idea what the plot's about. Like, we go to the thing, it's like an old buddy of his, and his wife's a robot, and then the wife gets killed with, like, you know, terrorism ice cream, and it was just, like I had no idea. We were just bouncing around. It felt like every 10 minutes we were bouncing around, when really these scenes were, like, 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
Like, they were taking their fucking time. It was slow, but it was still,
so much was happening.
So much was happening, but it felt like nothing was happening at all. Like, it was just, like, from the beginning of the movie to the end.
So much movement with no plot movement.
Yeah. Like, it was like, it had no purpose of anything. And then we're in space, and then we're on the moon, and all this stuff's happened. It was just bad. So, I highly recommend not seeing The Creator. As cool as the poster is, and how cool of an idea, I guess, it was, looking at, like, the robots and stuff. I did like that. The very beginning, the very, very, very beginning, where they had a little ad from, like, the 50s. Cool. That was great. And it set me up for a just disappointment right off that.
I guess I'll say this. If you have any care in the world to see it in a theater.
Oh my god, yeah. Even if...
Because watching that at home, no, I wouldn't even think about it.
If you were interested in the visuals at all...
See it in a theater.
You have to see it in a theater. Because if you watch this at home, you're going to turn it off immediately.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be, oh, cool intro. Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
I have no interest. Yeah, it's... Yeah, I mean, that's what people say about Rogue One and stuff. You gotta see it in the theater. Like Godzilla, you watch it at home, you're like, okay, yeah.
Right, whatever.
So, yeah, I highly recommend not seeing The Creator. It was not good at all. All right. We got a fire truck in the background, so we'll leave that out. But, our end of the episode, we were going to have The Creator kind of be the big ending, but I think we'll hold off on... for an actual good movie, maybe we'll have like the ending be like a big movie. So I think FNAF will probably be the first one we do, like maybe like a big topic on it that might be the closer. But let's go ahead and talk about the end of this episode is going to be celebrity interactions. Now, this is kind of based on the idea that in December we plan on going to the Pittsburgh Comic-Con, the Steel City Con, and we plan on going and getting some content. Maybe make a little video or something and talk about it on the podcast because they're going to have a lot of people there that are pretty interesting.
Yeah, so, I mean, for us right now, I mean, they have a lot of the Scream cast, especially Scream 1.
Yeah.
So they have Neve Campbell, Matthew Lillard, Skeet Ulrich.
Yep.
What's Randy? You know Randy's name?
David Arquette? I know David Arquette's going to be
there. David Arquette, Deputy Dude. I don't know. The guy who plays Randy.
There's a couple other people that are going to be there.
Tatum, I believe is her name. So, like, pretty much everybody from Scream 1 is going to be there. They have a lot of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. So, like...
That's huge. I mean, people
Giancarlo
like...
Esposito.
Hank. The guy that plays Hank. This is, like, first Comic-Con or something.
Howard Hamlin from Better Call Saul, Tuco from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. They have a lot of the Christmas Story cast, so it's Ralphie, the little brother, and then the ginger kid.
Which they did a couple years ago when they did Chevy Chase for the first time.
Yeah.
Was that they had Chevy Chase come with the Christmas Vacation crew, and I feel like they're basically getting the same thing because I don't know the last time they've had all the kids together in a Christmas Story like this.
So Josh went ahead. He pulled up the
I have the list up ahead of all the people.
So we got Jamie Campbell Bower. He was Vecna, Stranger Things. Yeah. Kiefer Sutherland. The guy who voices Miles Morales.
From the Spider-Man animated films. John Gleese. The man who was in some great comedy. I love his stand-up. He's great on like Conan and stuff. Yeah. He's one of the Monty Pythons. We have the girl from the Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah,
the girl. I don't know who this lady is. Do you know who this is?
I don't.
Oh God! Now we're clicking buttons. Jamie Kennedy. He's also going to be there. Who was in Scream?
Randy,
yeah, he's also in Son of Mask, a really classic film. Alex Winter from Bill and Ted.
I'm a big Bill and Ted fan.
The reason I really want to go though is Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario and Luigi and all the Nintendo based on all the Mario characters. Yeah. He voices like most of them. I don't think he does Toad or something, but other than that, he does like everything else.
Then we got John Carroll Lynch, he was in American Horror Story. He was in Zodiac. He's been in a bunch of other.
You're gonna get your Zodiac. Gonna get a Zodiac poster signed. That'd be kind of sweet. Signed. Yeah.
They thought you were the killer in this movie, John. So he's been in some other stuff, and then the last guy on this list actually kind of leads us into another story. And our first celebrity encounter story.
Yeah.
So Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle
will be there. He's from the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah. Pittsburgh native.
And so one time Josh and I, plus Josh's brother, were at...
I think our buddy Devin was there too.
Yeah, one of our other friends was there, I believe, as well. We were at a Cold Stone in the Pittsburgh area. And we're sitting there, and we see this bigger, older guy come in, and I'm looking, I'm like, I swear that's Kurt Angle. And then I kind of look at Josh, and we start kind of staring at each other, and it's like telekinesis. That's Kurt Angle.
You kind of look at him, then we look at each other, and we're like, oh my God, that's Kurt Angle.
And then we're just kind of staring at him, and we don't know what to do, so we don't say anything.
There is a local exchange. I don't know if you guys have one of those around your area. It's basically like music game pop culture kind of store, and they had like a Kurt Angle figure, and I was so tempted to just run over and get it and be like, can I get this signed?
Bring it back.
Yeah, don't even pay for it. Just grab it and be like, hold on, I'll be back in 5 minutes, and just come over. But yeah, it was so weird.
Yeah. He was with his grandkids. We didn't say anything. We decided to be respectful young men that day.
Well, I looked it up. I guess he was there because his grandkid or whatever had like it was like some school event, and he had like his gold medal and everything. So his gold medal was like there's an Olympic gold medal sitting in that guy's car, like right outside the door. Insane. So we didn't say anything because we're nice fellas, you know. We don't want to bother the man. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's a national hero, national treasure, whatever you want to say to him. I mean, he broke his neck and won the Olympics in wrestling. That is absolutely insane. I mean, that dude could still rip my head off. Yeah, the dude was built.
He could be dead. He'd probably still be able to kick your ass.
But I know people that have met him and say he's very nice.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I'm sure he's very nice, but we don't want to bother the man. But a person we do like to bother, though, is we went to this little comic event I heard from WDV. If anyone listens to... is in Pittsburgh area, they definitely know what DV is, but it's the big rock radio station. And so I'm a big fan of Randy Bauman, the DV morning show. I listen to him every single morning. All the time I'm listening. I love all of them, from Randy to Val and all that stuff. And I remember working at Aldi's at the time, listening to him in the morning. And I heard about this event by Steve Byrne, one of the comedians that's a local Pittsburgh comedian, and he was talking about this thing called the Goddamn Comedy Jam. And I guess it was a thing that they did in New York and bigger cities, Chicago, Los Angeles, where they'd get a bunch of comedians, some really big, like you'd have Bill Burr and a couple other big, Bert Kreischer, some really big names in the comedy world, do this event where it was very unique, where it was, you would go in there, they would say, they would do their whole, little... they did like 30 minutes or so of like a stand-up routine, and then they sing a song with a live band behind them, whatever they pick, like karaoke basically, and then at the end they have like a big celebration where they're all out there singing, and it's just really a cool event. And so Steve Byrne brought it to the Pittsburgh area, and I knew I had to, me and Jared both fan of comedy, and I was like, we have to go to this. So especially after hearing the lineup, and this is the first year they did it, the lineup was really what sold me. Because I was kind of like on the fence, like that's kind of a weird idea. Like, they always have these comic events all the time. But it was really the kind of the cast of characters they picked for this that really sold it to me. I don't know if you want to talk about it, Jared, but
yeah. So on this list, so Gary Cannon from the Conan show.
Yeah, he's like the opening act for Conan, getting the crowd warmed up, and that's what he basically did the show.
Yeah, and then you had Steve Ranazizi, big comedian. He was also on a show called The League, which I really used to like when I was younger.
Yeah, my dad's a big fan. I love his stand-up.
Right. Literal fantasy football show made for me personally.
I've heard it's pretty good.
You have Roy Woods Jr. He was from The Daily Show. He was really funny.
He's in that bar show that took place in Pittsburgh. That's why Byrne. It was Steve Byrne and Roy Wood Jr. I forgot what it was called.
And then one of those shows. It was supposed to be Hana May Lee from Pitch Perfect. She's the girl who just didn't talk, but she could beatbox in Pitch Perfect. But she wasn't there. She
never showed up.
She wasn't there. We never found out why.
Maybe she was in the first show. We did go to the late show because the first show sold out almost immediately. Yeah. And that was the day after I heard it. I was like, I got to get these tickets. And the first one immediately sold out. So they had a later show. And then,
And then the headliner was Sal Vulcano from Impractical Jokers.
Yeah, it was a hell of a lineup. Plus, you got Steve Byrne doing his comedy and Josh Adam Myers, who this is his basically comedy baby. This is his show he came up with, and it's just grown from there. And it was only $25.
It was pretty cheap.
It was it might have been. I think we paid $35 for lower level tickets or something like that. But it was still stupid cheap for this event. So I was like, all right, Jared, we got to go to this.
Yeah.
So we make our way. After a treacherous time driving around, we went to some things. We went to a store, went to Permane Brothers, Pittsburgh Classic, almost died. Funny enough, we saw this couple wearing the famous Sal shirts.
So we saw this couple when we were there, and they had the really old. If you know who Sal Vulcano is, you've probably seen the really old.
If you look up Sal, probably it's one of the first pictures.
This really old picture of Sal.
Yeah.
And so they have this picture on a shirt, and we see them, and I look at Josh, I go, where do you think they're going?
Yeah.
So then we get to the show, we're in our seats, and then we see the couple walk past us. They're sitting front row.
Yeah.
Mind you, we were pretty decent. We were lower level, maybe 15 rows back.
We were pretty close.
Good.
Yeah. It was just a crazy build up because this is our first comedy show. I've never been to a comedy show. I don't think you have. Been. Yeah, this is our first comedy show, and it was a hell of a way to start. Yeah, and it was funny. It was actually really funny.
Yeah.
All the comics did it well. I don't think the crowd knew what they wanted to do at first. The first two people that sang, it was just kind of this is weird because it wasn't just sitting back. You were standing up, you were dancing around, you were singing along. So it was really to get things warmed up, but by the time it's the third comic, there was a
lot of people obviously Josh talked about it was singing and comedy, and I don't know, there's a lot of older people there who I think maybe just thought it was comedy.
I don't know what they expected.
So kind of when people started singing and they were being told stand up, kind of stuff like that, they weren't.
Yeah,
bringing a lot of energy
because it's such a weird event. We go to any other comic, we're kind of fucked. If we go to any other comedian, we're going to be like, oh, this is how it should be. And then we're going to go and be like, oh, it's not at all. It's a completely different atmosphere. But to mention why they mentioned on DVE a lot because the DVE crew was supposed to be there. Randy, Val, Bill Crawford, all of them were supposed to be there. It was it was going to be another part of the show. And at the very last moment, because I think the show happened on a Friday, it was that Thursday, half the people got COVID. So the only person that was able to go was Bill Crawford. He's a stand-up comedian by himself. Very funny dude. So he was the only one that was able to show up. And we're going on this whole thing about the show is amazing. We loved all the comics we were able to enjoy. We were laughing pretty hard. But we're part of this celebrity interactions because after the show, we kind of went a little bit backstage almost and got a little bit of an interesting experience.
Yeah, so after the show, so there's this little area they have blocked off. They have security. They have things blocking it off, and there's a back door, and that's where the
the talent.
The guest, the talent comes out of.
Well, it's such a small venue. We should mention it's a very small venue because it was the first year. So I don't know if they were afraid that it wasn't going to sell for some reason.
I mean, there was maybe 400 people in attendance.
It was at most 500 people. It was a very small venue. So like they couldn't even fit a backstage area. It was all outside.
Yeah. So we decided to stay in there, and I think we were like, let's just see what happens. You were like,
I was like, let's just see. Maybe we'll even, if I even get to see someone standing out there, it'd be cool. Just seeing them being right there.
So we're kind of standing there, and at first there was probably like 20 of us.
There was a good bit because people were just filing out. It was like right at the exit, so if people were just filing
30
out.
People kind of maybe had that same idea. A decent bit of people just kind of standing there.
Yeah.
So we stand there for a while. And the first guy that kind of talked to us was Gary from Conan.
Yeah, Gary Kent, really nice guy.
He was really nice. He was coming over. He was talking to us, all this stuff.
Inviting us to the after party and everything. He was really cool.
So some people start leaving in this like group here. And then we see Bill Crawford come out. You're a guy.
Well, no. Because it was Steve walks out first. Steve walks out first. Steve Renazizi comes out with his Pirates custom baseball jacket. Yeah, that's what happened.
Right. So Steve comes out first. He starts taking pictures with people, and we're like, that would be kind of cool to get a picture with him. And that's saying we know this lady's like, well, I can get you guys a picture with him.
She's like, you want a picture with Steve? Like, very sweetly, like, you want a picture with Steve? And we're like, yeah.
She takes she's like, Steve, you better take a picture with these boys. We're like, okay. So we get our picture with them, and
he's saying how sweaty we are because it's no AC in this place. So we're sweaty.
That place, mind you, it's very small. There's a lot of people.
It's like 1800s. This place, it's very old.
I don't know if there was AC. Like, we were sweaty. It was midsummer. He puts his hand around our beds and he says, "You guys are some nasty motherfuckers."
He's like, you guys are so, with a smile on his face, like, you guys are so fucking sweaty. You guys are some nasty motherfuckers.
So
and we laughed our ass off,
We find out it's his wife. We take a peek at the picture. And it has the worst lighting I've ever seen in my life.
We love you, Steve Renazizi and Steve Renazizi's wife. But she goes, well, she took the photo or whatever. She's about to take the photo. She goes, hold on. Scoot over a little bit, guys. We can't see you. Because it's dark out. So she's like, hold on, let's go out. So we all move over. We scoot over a little bit. She takes the photo, and all you see is a street light basically just glaring down.
Like, you can tell it's him. You can tell it's us. But it's not a great picture.
Yeah. Some photo editing, you might be able to fix that. But...
So I'll let you tell the bill.
Okay, so Steve Renazizi heads off, and we're like, all right. But the person I'm there is for Bill. Because I wanted to meet all the DVE people, but unfortunately, the only one there was Bill. So I was like, all right, if we can get Steve Renazizi, I can get Bill Crawford. No one's asked for Bill Crawford. And, of course, there's people out there waiting for Sal because he's the big headliner and stuff. And they're like, can we meet Sal? The people that we met at the Permani Brothers that were sitting out there, they're there waiting with the Sal shirts.
There's less than 10 people there, I think.
Oh, yeah, there's only a couple stranglers
I want to say there's like 10 people here at this point, 2 of which are the couple wearing the Sal shirts.
Yeah, because Sal was still inside. He was just waiting inside, I guess, for everyone to clear out. Yeah. But so I'm waiting out there, and Gary Cannon's being a nice man. He's like, oh, who do you guys here to meet? Sal? I'm like, no, I want to meet Bill Crawford. He's like, Bill Crawford? He's like, that's a weird request.
He's like, all right, Bill.
He starts yelling. He's like, Crawford, where's Crawford at? He's yelling, and I'm like, this is amazing. And all of a sudden, this black SUV comes rolling up, just kind of creeping by, and we're like, oh, okay. And so it's going by. We don't know who it is. And all of a sudden, it pulls up right beside us and rolls down the window, and it's Bill Crawford, like a movie. I'm like, holy shit, that's Bill Crawford. So I wave him down. I walk over there. I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a big fan. And it was just a cool experience to me because I listened to him every single day. Yeah. It was like someone I listened to every single day.
So a funny story from this.
Yeah, yeah.
Say again, Bill Crawford's Pittsburgh guy.
He's a very Pittsburgh. His whole comic.
He is Yinzer.
His comic act, his whole thing is Pittsburgh, and I love it.
So, I go to the show. I wear a Mac Miller shirt. Pittsburgher.
I wear my West Virginia University shirt with the big old state of West Virginia on there.
So Bill Crawford says to Josh, I don't really like that shirt. But he looks at me and goes, nice shirt.
No, I respect that, yeah. And it was just such a cool, because I don't want to bother him, because that's why, like Kurt Angle and stuff. It's like these people are just people.
Yeah.
You don't want to bother them, but at the same time, I'm like, I paid money. I might as well fucking meet Bill Crawford. And he seems like a nice guy. So like, can I get a photo? He's like, yeah, of course. I get a photo with him outside of his car like a weirdo. And it made me so freaking happy. At that point, I could have just like left. Because like, oh my God, I just met Bill Crawford.
So
and that's when we kind of infiltrate the place at that point. So security's winding down. There's like 5 people left.
Mind you, the show started at 9. This ended about 11.
It's like 11:30, close to midnight.
It's like after midnight.
It's like after midnight at this point. Sal hasn't even came out yet.
It's like 12:30 at this point. A couple more people left. At this point, there's 6 of us.
There's about 6 of us, yeah.
6.
Rory Wood Jr.'s already left.
We said hi to Roy Wood Jr. We met Steve Byron. Everybody's kind of come out at this point. Security leaves.
Yeah, security just kind of dipped at
Security
a point.
left. It's 12:30. They're like, yeah, you guys are good to go. Security leaves. They removed the barricades.
I think Gary kind of let us through. I think Gary was waiting there. He's like, come on, guys, let's go.
So we're standing there, and then we see Sal come out, and we're like, shoot, we're like, Sal, come here.
Yeah,
Sal, come here.
He's kind of waving us off.
And I'm looking at Josh. I'm like, he's not coming here.
Yeah.
And then so I'm like, Josh, there's no security. Let's just go. So we start booking it over to Sal to try to say hi. And then Gary sees us. He's like, oh, yeah, you guys want to meet Sal? Come on over.
Yeah, he's like, come on. He's like, come on, guys, come on.
So he starts waving us over. We run up, and we're like, Sal. He's like, hey, guys. He's like,
I got to go to the airport. Yeah.
He's like talking about how he's got to go to the airport. He's like, I can't stay for very long. We're like, can we just get a picture real quick? He was like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So we get a picture with
Jared is not leaving with us photos.
I'm not leaving without
as soon as we get up there, he throws his phone to this people. Like, hold on to this. You're taking this damn photo.
I'm meeting Sal Volcano. Yeah. And I'm letting people know I met
within
Sal
like
Volcano.
30 seconds. Jared's going from a full sprint to someone's got your phone. You got your arm around him. You're feeling Sal's sweat on his back. It was crazy.
That hand,
that was like a year ago, damn. But yeah. Well, in the middle of that though, because we're waiting behind 2 people. We're waiting behind the people with the South shirts. I lean over and Steve Burns right beside me, and I go, Steve. I gave him a good old handshake. I'm like, that was a great show. I don't know if he thought I worked for him or whatever. I don't know if he thought I worked the show because he was like, thank you, thank you so much or whatever. Thank you. And I was like, all right. Thank you.
That's right.
Yeah, thanks for having me. But yeah, so that was the crazy night where. For 30, because after that, I mean, if you go to an Impractical Joker show and you want to meet any of them, it's a couple $100 just to even get the chance to.
I think Joe's solo shows, he sells like VIP tickets like $140 or something like that.
Yeah, and even tickets just to see Joe.
Or like at $50, $60.
It's like $50-$60. And unfortunately, we were underage because they had the goddamn Comedy Jam 2, basically. Electric Boogaloo, if you will. And it was basically everything I hoped it would be, but we never actually got to go. They had Billy Gardell come out of retirement, basically. The Pittsburgh comedy god. They had Joe Gatto and Sal. They had Steve Byrne. They had basically all the heavy hitters you wanted. And the thing is that first time, we're never going to get that again because they moved to the Rivers Casino, the big venue, basically a bigger venue. And I wouldn't be surprised if by the next show it's in a massive venue. I feel like it could even get into PPG, which is the big hockey arena. I feel like at a point it could get that big. Like, if they got Bill Burr or someone. Like,
it is pretty big.
Yeah, I feel like if they got Bill Burr or Bert Kreischer or someone, they could definitely make it into the hockey arena. But yeah, it was just a crazy, cool experience. Something that I won't ever forget. I mean, we were talking about the whole ride home, like how crazy it was. Because we're out there, walking to our car at like 1 a.m. Like, we just met, like, Sal Volcano and all these crazy people that we love. And it was just an insane experience. And we didn't pay shit for them, to be honest. Like, we paid $25 to see a great show, and that was it.
Yeah.
Beyond that, any other celebrity interactions? The only thing I can think of for me is that I've been to the Comic-Con before, the one we talked about we're probably going to. I've been there. I went a couple years ago. I met Pittsburgh Dad. I have an autograph and a photo with him. I met Arcade Matt back in the day. It was Matt3756. I am in a YouTube video of Arcade Matt from like August of 2015 or something, a young me. I remember I mean, this is old enough that Adam West was there. I think Bret the Hitman Hart was there in the corner. Mm-hmm. There was this really buff guy that I remember looking. I was like, this guy's like a big dude. Like, who's this guy? And my dad saying it was Chyna, the women's wrestler from the WWE. Felt embarrassed, but it was just cool to walk around. It was my first ever Comic-Con, and I've gone to ones years after that. I don't even remember any of the celebrities at that point. But recently, I went to the most recent one in August, where me and the girlfriend went, and we were just there to just kind of walk around and experience it. I wasn't expecting to buy anything. It was really cool to see Jason Lee. That was the first thing I did. We went to the back to the panel, and he just walked out, and you hear that iconic kind of raspy Jason Lee voice, and like you're walking down a celebrity road. And it was just cool being in the atmosphere where like you're around all these people. I saw the kid that played Greg Heffley.
Yeah.
I saw the kid the man that played Leprechaun, and he's in Willow and all that stuff. Just a bunch of cool people. Scott Ian from Anthrax, Jason Lee up close. I was like 2 feet from him, and you don't have to pay anything. Like at that point, you can just walk around. Now, if you want an autograph or a photo with him, you have to pay for him. But like just walking around, it was just cool. Like Billy D. Williams, I got to see. William Shatner, I never got to saw. I don't know where he was at, but the main guy from Lucifer we saw.
Yeah.
The kid from Stranger Things was just coming out. Mike Tyson was there. Like it was just cool just walking around. Marissa Tomei. It's just an experience going around those places, and you haven't been to one of those, have you?
No.
So I think you'd enjoy it because it's just cool. Even walking around the shopping area. Like, the only thing I bought there was possibly the best chicken roll I've ever got in my life from this guy, Big J.
Okay.
Absolutely love his barbecue.
And they have a bunch of, like, collectibles and stuff, too, right?
Oh, yeah, that's his whole thing. Basically, it's the main building. You got all the vendors. Think of it like a big, nerdy flea market, basically. You're walking through. You got random stuff from, like, that, or they have, like, people advertise stuff like the Silence of the Lambs house. They had a little booth there. A couple other things, but then you have comics, you have autographs. A cool thing that they have is that Steel City Con takes autographs from past people.
Okay.
Like they had an Anthony Michael Hall signed photo for like $30. It was like on sale. I almost bought it, but they had a bunch of stuff like that where it's past people. So I wouldn't be surprised if people like Jason Lee probably has an autograph there, and they normally do deals where it's like buy one get one free or something. Yeah. So honestly, I might end up buying that if they have one. But it was just really cool just being there, walking around, and they have toys and they have movie posters. They have all the cool stuff that you want. So
sweet.
It's just a really cool experience. I'm really excited to go again, and
should be a good time.
My girlfriend's not a fan. It's just not her thing. But I feel like having us or even my brother or whoever we all go with, I think we're gonna really embrace it.
Yeah.
It's more of our style, so I'm excited to see how you feel about it. Just meeting all these cool people. Yeah. But you got any other celebrity stories? I mean, I can think of one you have that you haven't mentioned yet.
Yeah. So back in the day, another Pittsburgh story, but
yeah.
So back in the day, they used to do a lot of these like Steeler charity basketball games.
Okay.
So they would come to local like high school areas, and they would play like mostly it was like teams of like doctors or something, or like alumni.
So are they absolutely destroying these people?
For the most part,
they're Pittsburgh Steelers versus like local nurses.
Yeah. No, their games
were
never close.
What the hell? They were good games, but you just went there to see the people, you know.
Yeah. But at halftime, they would do, like, autographs. But the big thing was they would never announce before the game which players were coming.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you just showed up.
So it was just a mystery.
Yeah. And so one of the games I went to was James Harrison.
That's pretty sweet. That's a pretty big one.
So I got to meet James Harrison, former Defense Player of the Year, probably future Hall of Famer.
Like, I would expect for that they would have, like, you know, the second string kicker. Like, people that, like, know, like, yeah, I'm a Steeler, but...
So, Charlie Batch, I got to meet him twice, I believe. Long time backup quarterback. Now he commentates games.
Really?
But he was, like, routinely at those, like, basketball games.
Really?
Yeah, like, he was, like, a staple of those. Like, they actually came to our high school.
Really?
Yeah, this was, like...
When was that? Was that when you met James Harrison?
No.
Oh.
There was nobody too big at that one.
There was no like Ben Roethlisberger, Heinz Ward,
no.
Troy Polamalu.
We were in middle school then.
Oh, okay.
But,
I never even heard of that.
Yeah, we were probably in like 5th or 6th grade.
That's crazy. I know. Speaking of sporting events, Pirates Fest is happening next year, and they haven't announced the players, but I know in past years they had the big names. Andrew McCutcheon stuff. You could go, and it's free. You just got to wait in line, which those lines can get, for the popular people, they could be really long. But I mean, who's the main guy? If McCutcheon's there, I will wait
Brian
for
Reynolds,
McCutcheon.
Brian Hayes,
yeah, Brian Reynolds.
Mitch Keller.
I would wait. I feel like a lot of people would, though. If McCutcheon's actually there, maybe they'll get Neil Walker or something. This is becoming sports talk, but yeah,
that would be pretty cool.
If they got like Neil Walker, the Pittsburgh kid, to come, I would wait. I'd wait like 2 hours to meet him. That'd be pretty sweet. But no, I was thinking of, you have a very kind of unique story on Twitter.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, kind of a Twitter interaction, but it goes beyond just a tweet.
Yeah, so this is like 2015, I think.
It had to have been around 2015, 2016, because that's when the movie came out.
Yeah, so it was Civil War.
It was Civil War, Captain America Civil War.
Mind you, I really didn't know these movies at all.
No, he hasn't. He does. How many Marvel movies do you think you've seen?
10, maybe.
10 is for the probably the big ones, like the Avengers movies and Guardians of the Galaxy, stuff like that.
10 to 15.
Yeah, he's seen the
I
heavy
haven't
hitters.
Seen Civil War.
Yeah. You haven't even seen it?
No, I haven't
really?
seen Civil War.
Wow.
So there was this thing on Twitter. It was like, you can either vote Team Cap or Team Iron Man.
Yeah, that's the whole movie.
So I didn't know what was going on. I was like, I saw these videos of celebrities from the movies, like, sending out, like, thank you for joining type videos to certain people on Twitter for doing it. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So I click Team Cap or whatever.
Yeah.
So then next thing I know, I get a notification. It's a video, and it's Paul Rudd. And I open it, and it's like, Jared, you good-looking son of a bitch.
Thank you for
joining Team Captain America.
That's amazing.
And I was like, no way.
You were like, no, absolutely no way is this happening.
No way. I just got a video from the Paul Rudd. Mind you, I was like 12, 13,
you're
14
like
years old.
Yeah, you had to be in like middle school, and you get a... I mean, you're the coolest kid in school at that point. I mean, really.
I don't think I told anybody about
I don't think you did.
While.
I didn't know about that till like high school. You're like, I have this video from Paul Rudd. I'm like, what?
Because I honestly forgot about it after a while.
Which is a disgrace. We're sorry, Paul Rudd, if you're listening.
It just kind of left my mind, and then one day I was like, oh my God.
Oh my
Paul
God.
Rudd.
I have this I have this video of Paul Rudd, saying I'm a good looking son of a bitch. I mean, you can get any woman with that. I mean, I know you have a girlfriend, but like, if you're trying to get anywhere in life.
Well, I got Riley Clark, so.
Like, job interview.
Right.
Anything.
What memorable experiences do you have? Let me show you this video.
Yeah. It's like, okay, why should we hire you? Because Paul Rudd said I'm a good looking son of a bitch, and I have video proof of that. I mean, there you go. That's just all you need. But, anything else you can think of? Any celebrity interactions? I know it's been a longer episode than normal.
I don't think so.
But, I can't think of anything else. This really sprung on the moment because we're thinking of Steel City Con coming up. We're really excited about that, even though it's, December. So we got 2 months away. But it was really just getting us thinking of all the crazy times we had and hopefully meeting people in the future. And I feel like that's going to be definitely a whole episode segment.
Podcast,
yeah, it's going to be a podcast in itself. Just talking about our experiences because it's really an event. It really is. But yeah, I think that's all I got for this episode. What do you think of anything coming up? I know we might have a guest coming up here.
Yeah, so next 2 or so weeks probably a little busier for me.
Yeah, it's gonna get hectic soon. We're gonna be working a lot more and doing all that stuff.
So next podcast probably won't be until the end of October.
Well, this episode's probably gonna come out in a couple days, so it'd be like halfway through October.
Yeah, so probably about FNAF. 2 or 3 weeks we'll have another one. We're thinking a Halloween special. Should be talking about FNAF, maybe The Exorcist.
I think I'm gonna see Exorcist.
Maybe Exorcist.
We're gonna have to talk about you're seeing the Taylor Swift show.
I am seeing the Taylor Swift show.
So
we might have to talk about that.
You definitely have to talk about that because that's just insane. I want to know what it's like.
We'll probably be doing, and then maybe some sort of like Halloween movie ranking, horror movies.
Yeah, some horror movie top 10. We'll come up with something at the time, maybe scariest moments.
Something like that. We might be having a guest or two, so.
Yeah, well, you never know. There's been some talks. I think the Halloween one probably will have a guest. It'll be over Zoom, probably something, but it should sound fine. But yeah, so that's exciting. And then after that, we have December. I know we have the Comic-Con. November is going to be kind of a weird month. I can't think of anything.
There's some salt. There's like the holdovers.
There's the holdovers coming out in November?
Yeah.
All right, so that's probably going to be a big one to see.
Killers of the Flower Moon's late October.
That's late October. That we could probably hold that off.
Yeah, maybe.
To another episode or something. I know that Hunger Games movie comes out. I'm gonna be stuck seeing that.
I'll be seeing it.
So we got some stuff coming up, but it's gonna be exciting. And then we're gonna be heading towards the end of the year and getting into 2024, which is gonna be interesting. So I just want to thank you guys for. Unless Jared's got anything else. You got anything else?
I haven't got anything
All
else.
right. Well, I'd just like to thank you guys for listening. Podcast is already starting off to a pretty good start, honestly, for just starting out. Look out on YouTube for other content on Feedback Productions. We're going to have Spotify. Go ahead and follow on that at J&J Podcast. We're going to have a Twitter account starting up here soon, probably TikTok. So we'll see where this spawns from here. This could create more content. Maybe we'll start doing... Honestly, I could see us doing like a video, like a vlog kind of thing at Still CityCon or something like that. Or we'll figure it out as it goes. But I hope you guys are enjoying. And take care. I can't wait to see you for the next episode. All right.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for spending the time with us. We'll see you again next week.